Last time, on Epic 7 Abridged, both Ras and Charon tried to recruit the Shota King Definitely Not a Sundre Ludwig to their side. Ultimately, Ludwig joined Ras and became Kisei's successor as an heir to the Guardian Chromkruz. After fighting Charon off, Ras absorbed the Archdemon's might held in the Lunar Cemetery. Now, Ras and Vildred are tied neck and neck, with Ras having absorbed the Archdemon's might in Dunblaria and Dusselnork, while Vildred took Wetheric and Ezra. In order to settle this tie, Ras, Iseria, Yuna, and Ludwig head off to Terranor to absorb the final Archdemon's might. But before we get into that, make sure to subscribe for more Epic 7 lore content. Like most chapters, we start off with the leaders of Ezra, who received a message from Crow, requesting that Ras and Mercedes meet him at the border between Ezra and Terranor. He also states that war may break out soon, so begin mobilizing your troops. This time, instead of the heirs heading off on their lonesome, they are escorted by members of the Order of the Sword, such as Iseria's student Alexa, who wants to be seen as more than a student. More on that later. Ras wonders if it's okay for them to be marching so closely to Terranor, so heavily armed, and Alexa says no, which Iseria elaborates on, revealing that after the current king of Terranor, Frederick, violently took the throne, he closed off Terranor from the rest of the world, becoming a hermit state. However, rumors of executions and oppression are widespread. As they travel to the rendezvous point, they are attacked by Terranorian guards, and Ras is surprised by how many there are. Alexa, hoping Iseria-sensei will notice her, states that they probably aren't border guards since they appear to be running reconnaissance missions. However, who or what they're looking for remains a mystery. Ras determines that if they just stick around waiting for Krav, they'll be found out, so it'd be best for them to split up and look for the wayward knight. So Iseria and Alexa head northwest, Yuna and Ludwig southeast, while Ras and Arki go northeast. With Ras and Arki, suddenly they hear a Terranor royal guard yelling, "Over there, I see someone!" However, Ras realizes that this guard wasn't talking to them, and a mysterious voice responds, "Oh ho ho ho, you know who I am, and yet you still attack me? Out of the way, or I'll slay you where you stand." The Terranor royal guard yells, "Crow has been located, requesting assistance."
Oh shit.
Meaning that all these guards are hunting Crow. Crow is able to deal with these NPCs without any help. And Ras asks, "Are you Crow, requester of my presence?" And Crow says, "Oh ho ho ho, you must be the heir of the Covenant. Considering your track record, I wasn't expecting you to actually come." Ras ignores that and asks Crow why soldiers are hunting him. Crow says, "Hold up. Just a minute. I want to see if you really have the power to save the world." And without warning, he swings his sword at Ras, initiating an impromptu duel. I'm sure it's a surprise to no one at this point. Again. But Ras wins. And Crow says, "You're pretty good. If you had woken up on time, defeating the Archdemon would have been easy peasy lemon squeezy." Ras is like, "Oh yeah, you're pretty good as well. But do we really have time for that?" Crow says, "No, we don't. But the fact that we duel during a time where every second is precious shows how dangerous our mission is. For you see, we are about to go where no man has ventured before. A place so dangerous that..." Wait, did I say to bring Mercedes? And Ras is like, "Oh yeah, about that, Vildred took her." Oh says, but calms down after a second, saying there's no way Mercedes will be killed, but the end is near, and proclaims, "Follow me!" as he grabs Arki by the tail and runs off, smearing the gluttonous guardian's glorious fur against the ground. Ras, following behind him, asks him to please explain what in the world is going on. So Crow relents, feeding Ras some exposition as they run, explaining that the previous king of Terranor used to be their guiding light, both a brave knight and an innate scholar, but then he began researching homunculi, causing him to go insane. His son Frederick refused to let him bring Terranor to ruin, so with Crow's assistance, he slew his father and ascended the throne. However, Crow wasn't the only one assisting Frederick, for you see, the acolyte Charon was helping him as well, and with him whispering in Frederick's ear, homunculi research continued, with Frederick trying to create a homunculus capable of containing the power of the Archdemon's might, so he could use one of the most powerful beings in existence, the Archdemon, as a puppet to reign over Britannia and eventually all of Orbis. Frederick was eventually successful in creating such a vessel. However, Crow infiltrated the homunculus laboratory to kill this being. This homunculus was Mercedes. However, right as Crow moved to unsheath his sword, Mercedes woke up and asked him if he was alright. for the paleness of his skin didn't look healthy. And that single act of compassion for a complete stranger made Crow lose his resolve to kill her. However, Crow couldn't just leave her in Terranor either, so he smuggled her out and entrusted her to his friend and trusted ally, Queen Diane, and requested that she teach Mercedes kindness and compassion, because he believes that the fate of rests in Mercedes' hands. Crow says he thought Mercedes would be safe with Diane, but with Diane dead, Charon was able to recover his vessel. So come, Ras, we must gather the rest of your comrades and go to the homunculus laboratory to stop Charon from transplanting the archdemon's might into Mercedes. Meanwhile, Izeria and Alexa stumble across something that leaves Alexa stunned. Izeria tells her that they need to request reinforcements immediately, when suddenly an axe comes flying towards them. They're narrowly able to dodge when the wielder reveals herself as a homunculus named Ravi. A little distance away, three new characters, Cecilia, Ramon, and Tywin, hear the fight breaking out and decide to investigate since it sounds like trouble. Meanwhile, at the rendezvous point, Yuna and Ludwig meet up with Ras, Archie, and Crow. However, Izeria and Alexa never show up. Realizing they're short on time, they head towards the homunculus laboratory without them. Crow rushes them, telling them they're short on time, which frustrates Ras, saying he was the one who arrived late. And Crow reveals that this is because, literally the day before, he was in jail at Terranor's Chasm prison. He only just recently escaped now that his plans have been finalized, because hastily breaking out would have accomplished nothing. As they argue, suddenly a scythe swings towards them, with Sigret having finally returned to the story. Ludwig, having never met her before, mistakes her for Kisei. However, Ras tells him she's not Kisei, she just looks like Kisei. Anywho's, Sigret tells Crow to surrender. For the last time they fought, she merely imprisoned him, but this time she'll kill him. However, against the combined might, Sigret is defeated, and Crow declares, "Shadow Queen, your reign of terror is over," and brings his sword down in a killing arc. However, Ludwig comes to her defense, blocking the sword and allowing her to escape. Crow starts lecturing him, telling Ludwig, regardless of the physical similarities, Sigret is not Kisei. She's a homunculus and follower of the archdemon, the very being your clan sacrificed themselves to stop. Yuna comes to his defense, saying Ludwig lost everything, so of course he would hesitate to kill someone who looks identical to the person he cared for most. But Ludwig apologizes, saying, "No, Crow is right, and if we fight again, I won't hesitate." The party finally arrives at the homunculus laboratory, and they see some freaky shiz stuff. Ras finds a faded note that details how the Queen of Terranor has disappeared, but using magic, she can be brought back. Crow peers over Ras's shoulder and recognizes the handwriting as the old king's, Frederick's father. The party continues searching for notes and find another one that states they were able to create a new body that looks identical to the Queen. However, another note reveals that the vessel has woken up and is capable of thinking, speaking, and feeling like any human, meaning that what they created wasn't a vessel for the Queen, but an entirely new living being. Thanks to these notes, Ras is finally able to piece together the mystery behind Sigret. Sigret was the vessel detailed in these notes, meant to be the body for the Queen of Terranor. So, Ludwig, Archie, and Ras mistaking her for Kisei was because Sigret was meant to be a copy of Kisei, meaning that Kisei was the Queen of Terranor, which meant that the mysterious Terranorian that Ludwig said Kisei loved during last episode's after-credit scene was the King of Terranor, Frederick's father. This also explains why the previous king went insane, because since Kisei was an heir, after dying in Epic 6, she didn't come back in Epic 7. But the results of her actions remained, such as her son, the current king, Frederick, which drove the king insane, desperately missing someone, and having loosely connected memories of someone who never truly existed. However, as they continue searching the lab, Crow realizes something is wrong, as there are barely any homunculi present. Yuna finds a note listing their inventory, which reveals significantly higher numbers than the homunculi they've killed upon arriving. Crow realizes they're too late, with the homunculi having already been dispatched to begin the war, and they may have already begun transplanting the archdemon into Mercedes. They leave their laboratory, desperate to warn the other countries of what is about to transpire. Using their higher powers, Ras and Archie attempts to detect the presence of the archdemon, and neither one finds any signs. Therefore, they deduce that the archdemon's might has not yet been put into Mercedes, and Ras states that he will break into the Terranorian castle, Revenbull, aka the Castle of Wings, and stop Charon, Frederick, and Arby from doing anything to his good friend. Yuna and Ludwig back him up, and Crow is shocked that they're willing to jump into the heart of enemy territory without backup, and decides that he'll go with them to maximize their chances of success, and also because he instinctively knew they'd get lost on the way there. However, Ras begins thinking of the worst case scenario and is unsure if he can kill Mercedes if it comes down to it. Archie tells him to focus on saving Mercedes first, and if the worst case scenario does happen, to remember what it is that Mercedes herself wanted to protect. Ras agrees, saying that for everyone who has ever dedicated their hearts to the cause, he has to kill Mercedes if it comes down to it, and he will settle things with Vildred, because Vildred had a good point. The goddess is essentially powerless, and this world is reaching its limit. These decisions of his may result in this being the last timeline. The party returns to the rendezvous point, and Iseria is waiting for them. She tells them that she saw an army of homunculi marching towards Ezra, so she sends Alexa to retrieve reinforcements. However, the party decides to trust that their forces will have their backs, and continue to the castle. However, they are stopped by a homunculi commander named Pylus. Fortunately, she's a mere ML3, so they defeat her easily. Iseria then gives us some exposition on who the allied armies are, consisting of Ezra's 4 orders: the Order of the Sword, the Order of the Shield, the Rose Apostles, and the Holy Order of the Blue Cross. In addition, the Elven forces of Dunblaria, and finally, support from Rengar. Additionally, knights from Lefundos and Wintenberg from a different continent, Eureka, have also pledged their help, worried that if the Archdemon is summoned, war may begin to spread to the other continents. In fact, it was because of these allies, Tywin and Ramon from the Knights of Lefundos, and Cecilia from the Dragon Knights of Wintenberg, were Iseria and Alexa able to avoid capture upon being discovered by Rafi. However, Crow says their armies won't be enough. They'll need to hire mercenaries to even the odds, and this gives Ras an idea, and he whips out the whistle Cartuja gave him back from the episode Ras Destroys Religion. However, he wants to get to the high ground to maximize the effect of the whistle. As he is about to use the whistle, he is stopped by Sigret. Again, Crow taunts her, saying, "I thought you weren't going to give us a second chance." Sigret responds calmly, saying that her life is not her own. She must simply follow her orders, and right now her orders are to delay the party for as long as possible, even if it kills her. And this time, it does. As she dies, Sigret asks them if they intend on stopping Mercedes from becoming the Archdemon. But before they can respond, she continues, saying, "It's pointless, for homunculi cannot defy their reason for existence." And then she dies. And whether she was truly talking about Mercedes or herself remains a mystery. We then cut to Arby, where Kayron tells him that Mercedes is finally ready. The advent of the Archdemon is inevitable. And that's all for this week's episode of Epic 7 Abridged. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned, because next time we're covering the finale of Continent 1.